In the early years of the 20th century, San Francisco was a city in transformation. Less than a decade after the devastating earthquake and fire of 1906, the city was rebuilding itself with renewed ambition. Streets were widened, new neighborhoods were planned, and modern infrastructure began to reshape the urban landscape. Among the most ambitious projects of this era was the Twin Peaks Tunnel, completed in 1917, a bold engineering achievement that would permanently change how San Francisco expanded beyond its historic core. This tunnel was not simply a transportation project. It was a statement of confidence, a vision of the future carved directly through solid rock. San Francisco's geography has always defined its growth. Steep hills, narrow peninsulas, and rugged terrain made east-west travel difficult. For decades, the western side of the city remained largely undeveloped, separated from downtown by the imposing mass of Twin Peaks. Before the tunnel, reaching the western neighborhoods required long, indirect routes by streetcar or carriage, often involving steep climbs and slow travel. As the population grew and housing demand increased, city planners recognized that San Francisco could no longer expand without overcoming its natural barriers. The solution was radical. Instead of going around Twin Peaks, they would go through them. Plans for a tunnel beneath Twin Peaks emerged in the early 1910s. The goal was clear: to create a direct underground passage for streetcars, connecting downtown with the western districts and opening vast new areas for residential development. Construction officially began in 1914, at a time when tunnel engineering was still a challenging and dangerous endeavor. There were no tunnel boring machines as we know them today. Progress depended on manual labor, drilling, blasting, and sheer determination. The project was overseen by city engineers who understood that failure was not an option. The tunnel would stretch approximately 1 mile beneath the hills, making it one of the longest streetcar tunnels in the world at the time. Work began simultaneously from both ends of the tunnel. Crews drilled into solid rock using pneumatic tools and explosives, advancing only a few feet each day. The work was slow, loud, and hazardous. Dust filled the air, explosions echoed through the mountain, and workers faced constant risks of collapse and injury. Ventilation was a major challenge. Fresh air had to be pumped into the tunnel, while smoke and debris were extracted after each blast. Lighting was minimal, often limited to lamps and temporary electrical lines. Despite these difficulties, progress continued steadily. The tunnel's alignment had to be precise. Any error could cause the two excavation teams to miss each other underground. When the two sides finally met, it was a moment of triumph for the engineers and laborers alike. The Twin Peaks Tunnel was designed specifically for electric streetcars, reflecting the city's commitment to modern transit. It featured twin tracks, allowing cars to travel in both directions simultaneously, and gentle curves to maintain speed and safety. The interior was lined with concrete, reinforcing the tunnel against seismic activity, an especially important consideration in a city still haunted by memories of the 1906 earthquake. Drainage systems were installed to manage groundwater, and overhead electrical lines powered the streetcars as they passed beneath the hills. This was not merely a tunnel, it was a carefully engineered artery built to serve generations. In February 1918, after years of labor, the Twin Peaks Tunnel officially opened to the public. streetcars began running through the mountain, dramatically reducing travel time between downtown San Francisco and the western neighborhoods. What had once been a slow and difficult journey became a smooth, direct ride beneath Twin Peaks. For many residents, it felt as though the city had suddenly grown larger overnight. The tunnel immediately transformed daily life. Workers could live farther from their jobs, families could settle in newly developed areas, and developers rushed to build housing along the new streetcar lines. Opening the West. The impact of the Twin Peaks tunnel extended far beyond transportation. It enabled the rapid development of neighborhoods such as Forest Hill, West Portal, and surrounding areas. These districts were designed with modern planning principles, tree-lined streets, single-family homes, and easy access to public transit. The tunnel made westward expansion practical and desirable. What had once been remote land quickly became part of the city's fabric. San Francisco was no longer confined by its hills. Property values rose, population density increased, and the city's footprint expanded decisively toward the Pacific. The completion of the Twin Peaks tunnel carried deep symbolic meaning. Just over a decade earlier, San Francisco had been left in ruins by natural disaster. Now, the city was proving not only that it could rebuild, but that it could innovate. This tunnel represented confidence in engineering, faith in public infrastructure, and belief in the city's future. It showed a willingness to invest in long-term solutions rather than temporary fixes. In many ways, the tunnel embodied the spirit of early 20th century urban progress, bold, ambitious, and forward-looking. For passengers, the experience of traveling through the Twin Peaks tunnel was unlike anything they had known. Streetcars descended into darkness, the sounds of the city fading as rock walls closed in around them. Lights flickered past, the hum of electricity filled the air, and then, just minutes later, the cars emerged into a completely different part of San Francisco. This brief underground journey became a daily ritual for thousands of residents, a quiet reminder of the invisible engineering supporting modern life. More than a century later, the Twin Peaks tunnel remains in use, a testament to the durability of its design and construction. It continues to carry light rail vehicles, serving the same fundamental purpose it was built for in 1917. Few passengers today stop to consider the effort required to carve this passage through solid rock, or the role it played in shaping the modern city. Yet the tunnel endures as one of San Francisco's most important infrastructure achievements. The Twin Peaks Tunnel is more than a tunnel. It is a turning point in San Francisco's history, a moment when engineering reshaped geography and ambition overcame natural limits. Through this underground passage, a city expanded, neighborhoods were born, and the future became accessible. In the darkness beneath Twin Peaks, San Francisco carved a path forward, one that continues to carry the city quietly and reliably more than a century later.